Okay, welcome everyone. Got started a little late. I was ready to go and just ran into a few issues. so, uh, yeah, we're going to be trading $100,000 paper trading account just because it's the margin requirements. But let's see here. Where is it? I just got to get this up again. I'm just going to make a quick one. Trading panel. There we go. Okay, paper trading. 100,000 unrealized P&L. Okay. So what I did was I entered this trade with the target up here. Unfortunately, I was 10 minutes delayed. Didn't realize it. So I'm just going to go ahead and cancel this. This doesn't count. We got real-time data now. I'm going to reset this real fast. And yeah, I didn't realize the margin requirements would be so high. So a $10,000 account wouldn't really work. We'll probably Well, now we're just going to do 100,000 because, as I said, it's all about getting better and whatever. We'll just trade with 100,000. Now, you can trade with $10,000. Just remember, because if you're day trading, you just can't hold overnight because brokerages they have their own margin requirements, and as long as you don't hold overnight, you won't be held to the Chicago Mercantile Exchange maintenance requirement, which is like I don't know, 30,000 or something like that. I don't know exactly what it is. So we're going to reset our account and we're going to get going again. Going to make our first trade, hopefully soon. Just looking at what's going on, we gapped down as I thought we would. I do believe we are in a bearish market right now, and we are just at the top of a channel, near the top here. Heavy resistance up here. So it came down. I figured on the first bar it was heavy down, and you see up here where the it was rejected, which is a sign to me again that the institutions want to keep this price down. Another big wick. So what I was planning was just to enter here. Things got kind of screwed up, but that's okay. We're just looking at it. I can't guarantee I would have closed my position there. I may have just left it open and just lost on that trade anyway. So what we're looking for is any kind of reversal up now. It came down. Usually that's when it comes down immediately, that's usually indicative of a liquidity sweep. But this could also be the liquidity sweep up here. Let's look at the volume. The bars are really small, but you can read the numbers right here. So the first bar was 2.1K, half that, and then lower volume, bigger candle, right? So that shows me market maker is just trying to keep the price down there. It's just rejected, or this could just be straight up retail. I'm not sure. But we're seeing lower and lower volume. Then a boost in volume right here, which pushed it over. All right, so that was, to me, that's the institution pushing up the price, probably to trap buyers up here. Okay, now it's coming down. Now we're going to look for a decrease in volume as it comes down. 601, 884, 241, and we are on our next 5-minute candle. Now we're seeing bottom wicks, so that shows support, and especially on lower volume, you'll see the market makers absorbing sellers here. All right. All right, everybody. So just to explain what happened here, I'm doing a voiceover right now because something glitched out with OBS Studio and it wasn't recording my audio through all these trades, unfortunately, and I didn't know this until I was finished recording everything. But I will try to talk you through to what my thought process is on each trade. We actually did pretty good today. We won six. Well, not today. This is Monday now, but last night we did pretty well. We won 6 out of 8 and ended up green, I think, $2,400. So not bad. And going forward, I'm going to treat this like it is a $10,000 account. I was just going on the fly because I wasn't expecting to paper trade with the $100,000 account. So what I'll do is treat it like a $10,000 account from now on, and just risk probably no more than 1,000. Nah, that's too high. No more than 500 per trade. We'll probably just trade 2 contracts at a time. You won't be seeing big numbers, but again, it's all about winning your trades and becoming consistent, right? So, yeah, this was my first trade, so my thinking was a little off, right? That big red candle with the big wick at the bottom, what that was, now that I think about it, that was all profit taking. People were holding overnight, expecting the price just to go up, I guess. So I think that was just a big retail candle, profit taking right there, and the liquidity sweep was up to the top there. So I was thinking on going long, expecting a reversal. That was a mistake, and I will realize that soon enough. And the reason I went long, I was seeing all those bottom wicks and low volume. So, but of course it's low volume, right? It's overnight. But I don't know. I try to pay attention to the volume of each candlestick. So in real time, I try to see what's going on. But my thinking was a little off here. I was a little flustered there with all the technical issues and whatever at the beginning. But that's okay. I'll show you soon how this, just fast forwarding through this, otherwise this video would be super long. So yeah, I wound up changing my mind on my position. I started to see it go sideways on me, and I just got out of the trade. And yeah, so I closed my position there for a loss. That was the first trade. Okay, so hey, that's okay. Bad start. I bought low, sold high. But yeah, so that was a loss. So on to the next trade. I'm doing some crazy stuff here. I'm talking, but nobody's hearing me, so no worries. Just trying to explain my thought process and what I'm looking for. All the lines you see lined out there, that's all historic. Historic levels. Just to explain for those that don't know, most of you probably do know if you're watching this. But previous levels that you see the candlesticks, the price, consolidates at and bounces off of a lot of times. They call these points of control. I don't have any volume profile indicator up there right now, but in the future I will be using that too as a reference. So here we go. I entered in a short trade here, and we're just going with 4 contracts at a time, and this turns out to be a winner. And every trade I take from now on is going to be a winner. And basically what I'm doing is I'm just riding the trend down, right? So basically I saw, hey, this thing's reversing on me. It's actually going down, bear trend, just like I originally thought. But, I kind of changed my mind at first. So sometimes you just got to really re-examine the factors that are challenging your original thesis, But I traded against myself on that first trade. But I learned my lesson, changed my mind, closed my position out, and took a short position. Because with the volume and the price action, I knew a drop was coming. So basically, the strategy throughout the whole day was, riding the trend down, looking for short entries when I see the buying momentum die off at the peaks, and turned out pretty good. A pretty easy night of trading. It's cool on the overnight, because the price doesn't move very fast. You don't have a lot of volume and to deal with, so you have a lot of time to think in your trades, and you have a lot of time to re-examine what you're doing. So Yeah, I'm letting this play out and just showing you how this trade plays out. So right now we are in the green, $750 right now. So what I'm looking for is for it to hit a certain target so I can just bring my stop down and lock in some profits. And I believe I was waiting for a $1,000 profit to bring my stop down. Target is always $1,000 every trade. But hey, if we get stopped out for a $500 or $300 profit, that's a win too. Never regret, never regret exiting a position too early. All right, especially if that was a profitable trade. Because the thing is like again, you can't live in regret doing this. Because you got to accept that no matter how good you are, you just cannot predict the future. You just don't know what's going to happen. Because this could have just rocketed up at any time. You just never know. Because again, you just don't know the mind of the market maker unless you are the market maker. So they could decide to just pull that trigger anytime and just turn the market reversed and reverse the market on you, which is why it's important to always have your stop loss in. So we're just going to go ahead and watch for a little while and show you how this plays out. Okay, so right there, I found opportunity to go ahead and just lock in some profit there. I was able to lock in $1,000, so was expecting that bigger move for it to break that area of support there. I guess that's why I didn't move my stop down earlier. But there we go. So we're riding easy right now, right? So if it comes back up and stops me out, it's not a big deal. We still lock in $1,000 on 4 contracts. So there we go. That was a win. So going forward, I'm not so sure my targets will be so large anymore. We'll probably just be trading with 2 contracts, and another technique I'm gonna do from now on is probably just move my stops accordingly. Not all my contracts, like if I'm in the profit, I'll probably always just leave one runner and have one contract stop the one contract stop loss, trailing behind the other leading contract stop loss. So I'll have one in the lead to where I'm looking to reap the profits on, maybe close that one contract out immediately, and then move the stop down for the other contract. That way increases our chances for catching a bigger swing, gaining more profits on our trades. As long as we read the market right and our technicals are fundamentally sound, I think it'll work out. But we'll have to see. So yeah, real momentum going down here. So I decided to enter in another trade. And I'm not worried about trading too much or over trading, because this is just practice. We're paper trading. So all I'm worried about right now is just developing my market sense and my feel for my entries and exits. Just to be honest, my greatest challenge right now is just figuring out when to enter these trades. Sometimes I'm stuck in a trade for a long time, which you'll see later on in this session. I entered into a trade way too early, and I was in pain for a while. I even increased my position, and but it did wind up being a profitable trade. But I was way more negative, before I was positive. So lesson learned. We'll try not to do that again. So there we go. I got stopped out at. Oh no, I moved my stop down. Let's see. Yeah, so I locked in a $300 profit. I was seeing some weakness in the movement, which made me just go ahead and lock that in. Because even on these climbs down, you always have a pullback. So, and on these pullbacks, you never know. It could be a reversal, and it'll just turn on you, and next thing you know, your profitable trade turns into a negative trade, and you're stopped out. So there we go. Stopped out again, but for a profit, $300 profit. So now on the day, we are up, I guess, $600 if I'm reading that right. It's kind of difficult to read that right now. That's okay. Let's see here. So what I'll probably do is during these moments of silence, I might just find some background music to play while we're fast forwarding through all this. But yeah, I went ahead and entered into another trade there. You see that big green candle there, right? Well, it's not a big green candle, but that big wick, basically, the doge, on low volume with strong support. So that tells me that was profit taking from folks that shorted up there up top. And I saw a weakness on that one candle, and yeah, figured it was a good place to enter, but I probably should have waited until it got to the top of that imaginary channel there. The reason I call that imaginary is because you got to realize on low volume, especially the big money players that are in play in the market at that time, they can make these patterns form. And basically what they do that for is to keep retail in check, right? Keep them in a pattern so that they become more predictable. And that's why they show you these patterns, these trend lines and whatever. I always wondered, why does the market show these patterns over and over? Why these trends and stuff? And then I realized, it's the market maker. He's playing the retail trader and showing them these patterns, because this is how people are trained. They're trained on these patterns and stuff. And on low volume, when it gets to a certain price, the market maker can just keep entering in orders to either buy or sell to keep the price at a certain point. And then it goes back up to the top of that channel, and then market maker again resists because they got the same things drawn on a chart, and they're looking at the same things you are, or they're actually drawing the pictures for you. Okay, so you just got to keep that in mind. So here we go. I moved my stop loss again for a $500 profit, just hoping that it would keep going down. Unfortunately, I didn't really get any real runners. I could have probably just held on to my first trade. Not my first one, but my first winning trade. My first short. And just let it ride down the whole day until the end of the session. But, yeah, I didn't. I always try to take profits when I can, because you just never know. Okay, so we got to move our stop loss down a little bit more. And, yeah, that's a pretty good trade right there. We locked in 1150. So we get stopped out, no big deal. All right, so we're just fast forwarding here. I'm still looking for another short entry. And that's a big old green candle towards the top of that imaginary channel. So I believe I'm probably going to be entering in a short position again here right quick. So when you see it, right there, see that week on that next candle, you see a lot of resistance, right? And you're at the top of that imaginary channel, and we're in a bearish trend. So I decided to go ahead and enter my position there. I think this was probably my best entry of the day. And yeah, I set my stop loss way up there, but that was just thinking with a $100,000 account. But again, I'm going to treat this like it's a $10,000 account going forward, because as I said before, you can trade with a $10,000 account on the ES minis. It's just that you can't hold overnight. Unfortunately, since I'm paper trading and not really through any real broker, I don't get that benefit from decreased margins for day traders that brokerages offer. So I would just imagine my stop loss would probably be right above that next resistance level, like right above it. And I think even if my stop loss was there, I'd probably still be good in this trade. But let's see it play out. It's just hanging out up there. Real fight there. So what I think that is market maker just keeps on entering in sell orders to keep that down until retail gives up, and you're gonna see it go the other way. Okay, so just to explain what happened there. So I was trying to get my toolbar up just to make sure that the OBS was still recording, and it was locked up. So I had to do a bunch of crazy stuff, and I had to restart the recording. But I'm still in the trade, and you know, still waiting. These movements are kind of slow, so you're going to be in trades a little longer than you would be during regular hours of trading. Just because of the low volume, but that's okay. Hey, if you're making a $1,000 in the space of 10 minutes, that's fine too. So right here, I'm expecting it to drop back down to the bottom of the channel, or that area of support right there, that white line. And that's my division between the two zones I have outlined on the chart. So right now we are experiencing support off of the demand zone. So I believe when I start seeing resistance there, or support rather, at that level, that's when I go ahead and bring my stop loss down to lock in a profit. But I can't remember exactly. It's difficult to recall my exact thoughts through these trades, but looking at it, I think that's what I'm waiting for. So I'm starting to see some support there, and the weakening of the sell movement, decrease in volume, and the appearance of some bottom wicks. So I believe I'm going to be moving my stop down pretty soon. Maybe not. Maybe I am pretty confident it's going to just break through. I'm not sure. Okay, so what I think I'm waiting for now is just for it to break through that area of support, right back into the demand zone. So I'm just paying attention to the volume, right? That little, okay, there it is. Yeah, okay. So I finally was convinced. Yeah, we're seeing good support right there, even though we're at the top of this imaginary channel. But you never know, because this is just the beginning, right? Who knows if that channel is really legitimate or not? Maybe the market maker is just showing you that so that he can break that channel, get some more liquidity, convince retail traders like, hey, we're breaking out. And oftentimes retail, I've seen it, YouTube traders, they don't pay attention to volume. So they get tricked a lot of times, then they get trapped and they get stopped out. They become liquidity for the big money. So I think what happens here is it's going to break out of that channel and form another channel, but come right back down after this liquidity sweep to the top. And now that I recall, throughout the night, the bottom band of that VWAP has been serving as resistance the whole way. But we'll see. I think I might. So this is a win-win here, right? So if I get stopped out, I lock in $300. If it breaks through, we're still running and we're still printing money. So you see a little break there, but comes right back up. Okay, so the good thing here is you see that large body, but you also see an uptick in volume on that candle. So that was a good sign to me. I was feeling pretty good right now. It's a win-win. Let's see if it breaks. I can't remember on this one. So we're seeing a breakthrough on volume, which confirms for me this bearish movement today. And I think pretty soon I'm probably going to move my stop loss down again. So I'm not moving my stop loss down too fast because you never know. It could come right back up to test that previous support before it goes down further. So I was kind of waiting to see what happens here. Just again, watching the RSI, watching where we're at on the charts, looking at each individual candle and the volume on each candle within the wider context of our overall analysis of where we're at today in the S&P index. So one thing you want to practice on, right, when you're in these trades, just exercise your mind, exercise your thinking. Always be reevaluating your thesis, your ideas, because even if you're in a winning trade, you still got to be thinking about it, right? What is happening? It can become exhausting, but you know what? It's like a muscle you have to work out. Don't just be putting in trades and just looking at the price and not even thinking about anything else. Just again, you want to develop your senses, okay? Because naturally we're not built to just go ahead and interpret this kind of information. You have to practice at it. So even while you're in a winning trade or a losing trade or whatever, just keep that brain going. Just keep reevaluating. So here I'm just seeing a weak movement. I expected that retest of that previous support. That's why I didn't move my stop down yet, but I'm seeing a little bit of weakness on that green candle. So I'm expecting maybe another green doge before more red candles going down. and I believe that's when I move my stop loss down further. So yeah, I already did move my stop loss down, actually locking down a $500 profit. Okay, because I was expecting resistance, rejection off of that previous support. That's why I put my stop right above that line, which is honestly where most retail traders probably have a stop placed right now. So we may see a stop hunt right here, and I get closed out. Really can't remember. It's tough, you know. I've slept since then. Okay, so I got stopped out there. It did break that resistance for a little bit. Okay, so here is where I enter into my a bad trade here. Even though it's a winning trade, it was quite painful. I wasn't paying attention to what was actually going on. So what happened was, if you see that large red candle, right? That was it was a big move down. But then you see that large green candle match actually increase, have more volume on it than that red. And what that was it was profit taking, but what I didn't consider was that it would also trigger more buying, to the upside, breaking that channel for a liquidity sweep. And that's what happened. But yeah, I was in this trade for a little while. So we're just we're fast forwarding this. And I think if I wasn't stuck in this trade, we would have probably made more trades, but that might have saved me. I don't know. So here, I'm like, okay, it's going up. It's breaking this channel. It's probably going to go a little higher. Maybe even up to that next level up there. That's why I have my stop right beyond it, up at the VWAP. I don't think it ever hit the VWAP, the center line, this whole session. As I said, it was treating that bottom one standard deviation band of the VWAP as resistance, the whole night. So yeah, we're in a lot of pain. And here is where I think I increase my position because I'm starting to see weakness on that up move. So I'm figuring, hey, you know, if we're negative, maybe we can average it out, decrease our losses, bring our stop loss down, and increase our profits when it does go back down. So that was my thinking there. I'm not married to one single strategy. I don't have rigid rules when it comes to how I trade and what I'm looking for. It's just a combination of a lot of factors. I'm only using two indicators on this chart because honestly, it's the free edition. You only get two indicators. But yesterday, I realized that I was working on delayed data at first, so I I did a free trial with TradingView, so I will have maybe a couple of more indicators on the next trading session tonight. But yeah, I'm only using two, the VWAP and the RSI. So up here, you'll see the RSI is getting a little higher, and I'm still confirmed in my bearish bias now. We're seeing a bearish trend forming, and I don't expect a reversal anytime soon. I move my stop up a little bit. I'm not really sure why I did that, but I did. Oh, I know why I moved it up because of that. I was expecting a retest of that previous support up there, so it just broke the bottom band of that VWAP, and I'm still within my risk tolerance. Even if I lost this trade, I would still be green on the day, and that was fine with me. As I said, I'm just a novice. I'm still learning. So I would have been content with that loss anyway. So you see that number, right? On that stop loss, that dollar amount, always be ready to lose it. Okay? Whenever you make a trade, you always got to be comfortable with that number. Because if you're not, you're going to be shaking out of your trades real quick and you're going to start losing a lot. So just stick to your guns, unless there's overwhelming evidence, to challenge and to invalidate your original thesis. So here's where I'm sweating a little bit. I'm seeing if my idea is correct that this is a liquidity sweep to the top, and the market makers already gotten their sells. They've offloaded their shares onto retail buyers, and I think they're ready to bring that price down right at that resistance level. And I think my stop is safe, and I've already increased my position and put my stop at an acceptable level. And now it's just a waiting game. A very long waiting game. And that's unfortunate. You don't want to get stuck in trades like this because it's wasting your time. I should have just waited until I got up there and then entered my short. But, hey, we live and learn, right? We're just learning. So, we're going to see a big drop pretty soon down to the bottom band of the VWAP. And then after this, I get out of my trade immediately when it gets down to that support level, that white line down there. And after that, I readjust, redraw my trend, and I think it's smooth sailing from there for the most part. So we're pretty far into the trading night already. It's 10:45 Eastern time. I'm trading until midnight Eastern time, which is 10 o'clock Mountain time, which is my time zone. So I've probably been trading for like 3.5 hours right now. Getting pretty exhausted. And if you see I move to the other places of the chart, I'm probably just explaining things or just looking for things to challenge or invalidate my original thesis. So I believe this is where the drop is coming. You see the volume coming in. You see all those bottom wicks on those previous candles. And then that green candle shows, hey, we're not going up, we're going down. So the volume comes in, big drop. People start panic selling, and then that causes a quicker movement. And now we're profitable again. Right? So that was a big swing. We were, negative 1,200 at one point? And sometimes that's how it goes, especially if you're trading 4 contracts on the ES. But again, from now on, I think I'm only going to do 2 at a time. And just try to keep one runner each trade. Each winning trade, we're going to try to keep a runner. So you never know how far down these movements are going to go. So what I like to do is just try to get a good point to where I can squeeze my stop in between my original entry and where the price is at, and just lock in a good profit, at a place where it's like about 50-50 chances where it'll stop or keep going. I just don't know right now. So I just go ahead and lock in my stop. Actually, I think I just wind up closing it out immediately because I saw it turning back on me. No? Okay. Yeah, I guess I moved my stop. All right. Couldn't remember. So I think I did well there. Just locking it in. Yep. and I believe I'll get stopped out pretty quick here. Because, yeah, I drew another line. Because if you notice, if you look to your immediate left, that is a previous level of support. So I was expecting it to bounce off of that support. I got stopped out, and I didn't want it to keep going on me in case that was a true reversal and the bottom was already in for the day. But fortunately for me, it wasn't, and we're looking for another short entry here. So I'm not sure how many trades we've taken so far. As I said, I took 8 trades, and I lost my first and I lost my last. The last one that I lost, I think it was just a matter of time. I was ready to go to bed. Took me beyond my planned hours of trading. So I just moved my stop down really low, and I didn't really care. I got stopped out for a small loss. Relatively speaking, you don't ever want to lose, but hey, it was still like a plus $2,400 day, I think. So I didn't have a problem losing that last trade for $400. But let's see. Let's see where I enter in next. I think it's about to come up right here. So I believe right here I'm looking for a green candle or some kind of a bounce to the top before I enter in again on low volume. You never want to enter in a bouncing candle on higher volume, Always on low volume. If it's low volume and it forms a wick at the top, that's usually the sign of a good entry. For a short at least. And vice versa if you're looking to go the other way. So right here, you never want to chase prices either. I mean, look, you keep seeing big, long red candles. Good rule of thumb, don't ever chase the price. Don't catch falling knives. Just let it do its thing. You'll get another opportunity. So here I'm seeing weakness, a weak bounce off of support, and that's indicating to me, hey, it wants to break this level of support and go down to our previous the lower level of support here. So I entered in, put my stop loss way too high if we're actually trading a $10,000 account. But, I was in the mindset of 100,000, so I just planned accordingly. I was planning to risk no more than 5,000 a trade, but we're going to change that up in the future now. I'm going to treat it like a $10,000 account, because that's what I'm getting ready for. That's what I'm preparing for. I don't plan to have like a $100,000 futures account when I start trading live money. I plan to just use $10,000, and see where it goes. But yeah, that trade worked out really well for me. In fact, it broke through the other level of resistance just for a moment. And I don't think it actually breaks through that level anytime tonight. So yeah, and I just close it out. Instead of moving my stop, I just closed it out because I was thinking that's a big old wick and it's probably going to be going up. And what that was, so hindsight is 2020. So what that actually was, all that was just profit taking from the shorts up top. Okay. But the thing about it is when profits are taken, you don't know if that's going to trigger more buyers to come in and drive the price up higher. So you don't want to enter in right there. Looking for another entry, just keeping an eye on the volume and the momentum of each move, of each candle, really. We're trading on the 5 minute, so each candle represents 5 minutes. I do look at the 1 minute every now and then just to get a better idea of what's happening within that candle. So for every one candle, there's actually 5 candles, 5 1 minute candles. So sometimes you want to zoom in a little bit just to get a more granular detail on what's happening. Okay, so I enter in another one. I'm seeing, I see a steep drop in volume. And I think here's where I realized, that big wick was just profit taking. See that other big wick on that red candle? that big, large second drop there. There's a large wick right going through the red line. That's my entry right now. So, okay, I think I actually meant to enter into a trade, but I accidentally put in a limit. I don't like to do limits. I just go ahead and enter in the trade wherever the price is at. You know, because I think if you're not confident enough just to buy at market where you're at, you should just wait. You're not confident enough to actually enter into that trade. So I always want to do market. So yeah, I went ahead and fixed that. Entered in. So again, I realized that, hey, that was just profit taking on that large wick, and then another round of profit taking on that second wick. So the trend down is still legit, in my opinion, and it turned out to be right. So I entered in again. And this actually, I can't remember. This might be my last trade, actually. I might actually be wrong. This might be my last one where I lose. Let's see. We're up. Yeah, okay. So this is my last trade. I think if I would have waited it out, it would have turned out to be a winner. So we're just going to go ahead and fast forward through here for a little while. Excuse me. And you'll see this play out. So we're winning. It gets positive for a little bit, but there was just too much support at that white line there. It never broke through until I actually got off, I think. Yeah. So I was thinking about just go ahead and closing this out, but then I was like, you know what? Nah, it might go through. And I just waited, and I think I went about 15 to 30 minutes over the time that I had allotted because I was in this trade. And I just wanted to see where it was going to go. And yeah, it gave me some hope right there. Yeah, that's what kept me in. So it broke through a little bit. So I was like, this might have some legs. And then it immediately came back up. And you'll see I'm going to move my stop loss from 700 to 400 just to save a little bit of money on this losing trade at the end of the day, end of the session here. Okay, so yeah, since I won 6 out of 8, as I said, if you wanna be part of this and have access to the poll that I'm gonna set up where we vote on every candle, I don't think I'm gonna hold you to that standard. I think I may have gotten a little lucky. It was an easy trading session on a bearish channel. So what I think I've determined is if you could just get 2 out of 4 trades correct, I think you'll be in. So we're not going to set this standard so high. I mean, 6 out of 8. How many times can you really do that trading futures? Usually you can only hit that kind of number on an easy session like that where there is an obvious channel going down. So if it's going down, my technique is, hey, I'm not a counter trend trader at all. I just go with the trend. So if we're going down, I always look for bounces to enter in shorts. And if we're going up, I always look for pullbacks to enter in long. Pretty basic technique. I don't get fancy with it. I keep it simple. I try not to use too many indicators. Sorry about that. I'm in my garage and there's a truck passing by. We have pretty loud trucks around here. So I try to keep it simple. Try not to use too many indicators. I think at maximum 3 indicators are fine. 3 indicators will give you plenty of information along with the price action and volume. A lot of people just use price action and volume to tell you the truth. And you know what? That might work out, especially if you're just looking for quick scalps. But yeah, I try to use, the amount of tools that I'm comfortable with, and I don't think I'm really more. I'm not comfortable with more than probably 3 indicators. 4 maybe. I might use 4. MACD is always good. The awesome oscillator will tell you a few things. But I'll tell you how I came on to using just the VWAP and the RSI. It's because I asked Trade GPT, hey, I can only use 2 indicators. Which ones do you recommend? And they said, well, VWAP and RSI. And you know what? That VWAP actually, it did wonders that night because that bottom band really did serve as like support and resistance with a 1 standard deviation. So. Oh, and another thing on that mistake, right? That winning trade that I got stuck in, that did turn into a winner, but it was really a loser in my mind. The one thing I didn't pay attention to was the RSI indicator. See, I wasn't looking at that. The RSI indicator was like super low, and there was a divergence I noticed afterwards. And yeah, I shouldn't have entered into that trade. Should have waited. I got to work on my patience. So yeah, we're going through this, and I get stopped out. I'm going to move my stop loss down to 400, and I get stopped out. So I'm going to end the video here. I think that's enough. And yeah, I will begin tonight's trading session in about half an hour. So I'll see you later, and we'll post tonight's session tomorrow. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and hopefully we could trade together. Later.